Good evening, everybody, and welcome to That's a Great Question podcast. I knew I forgot something. Hold on a second. Here we go.
I'm an idiot.
Buenos nachos.
Nachos buenos.
We'll have to overlook Pete's voice here, and I'd like to ask the other two of you to also keep looking at the screen. Look for signs as to when he wants to queue up and talk, because we wouldn't want to have him put too much work into it.
I'm trying not to. Actually, I want to talk kind of low and just keep.
Go ahead and bring that mic up closer so that it's not that hard on you.
Yeah, I think that's going to be best right there. Anyway, Spaz is not here yet.
Oh my God.
I don't know what's going on. He's a legend, but
Let's call it. We can't do this.
Yeah, it's
Good show, everyone.
let's
Yeah,
shut it down.
Round of
Forget it.
applause.
thanks for coming. Well, I'm sure he'll be here. Or maybe
Thank you,
What
everybody,
part
for
of the,
coming.
what part of the medical process has affected your voice like this when the problem isn't actually there? Can you
I don't know.
give me
I think it's from the when I was vomiting. I was dry heaving a lot.
so you tore it up a
Yeah.
little?
I think I tore it up a lot.
That'll beat
So
up the
what are you
vocal
doing to
cords.
remedy that? Is there any tea, lemon?
I've been drinking tea. I've been drinking warm liquids and stuff like that. But I try not to talk too much. When I'm home.
You back?
So, and I
We'll talk later. Bye.
I want to do a show in the morning,
Yeah.
but then I get up in the morning and I'm like, I can't talk. Damn it.
There's some stuff that I ordered off Amazon and it made it feel really good. It's called Throat Coat. It's a tea, a regular tea, and it's got a slight bit of numbing, and all you're looking for is minor relief, because that helps stretch out. I think I'm getting my voice back. I did a long show today. My voice sounds good right now. If I were to go on talking right now for about 2 hours, I'd start to feel it again. So there is a remnants. It takes a long time to heal. The esophagus is a son of a bitch, especially when you're forced to take meds and everything else in your body is disagreeing with you. And so there's Zegrin. It's a capsule for kind of like a heartburn, indigestion type thing. And that stomach acid coming up, you don't know it, but you're laying down and it just kind of comes up and tears shit up and stops. the healing
Oh, yeah.
process.
Yeah. I'm lucky. This doesn't hurt. I have no pain. So I'm kind of lucky for that thing. But, and I haven't had any acid reflux or anything like that to irritate it. It's just
That Throat Coat really, really helped me out. I've had a lot of issues with my
on
with
Amazon. You
this
said,
part of Throat
And I
Coat
bet
right off
April's happy
Amazon.
too.
Yeah,
huh,
it
what's-
was
I
Throat
bet
Coat.
April's happy too. You're quieter.
I'll go get it. I'll go get the box and I'll show it to you.
Yeah, do that. I like to try. Yeah, she is kind of happy. I'm not talking too much. Anyway, welcome to you guys. I'm glad you all are here. Let me say hello to some guys in the chat, because I got a bunch of people over on YouTube. Disco Daphne, keeping the peace. Cindy Duff. Oh, Boiling Point Live's there too.
Oh
Joe-
my God.
that guy's everywhere. He's like a bad toe fungus.
Like herpes.
Gary
You
Holland,
can't get rid of them.
Linda Horner.
No, I shouldn't say herpes, because you get herpes from leftists. You won't catch that from me.
That's true. That's very, very true. Then we got Light Spear. I got your package. Thank you very much. And I dispersed that other package to my daughter on Father's Day. So she said thank you very much. Appreciate it very much. He sent me some cool movies. So yeah, thank you very much. So Bowser, welcome. Beach Bum and Mermaid, what's happening, sweetheart? The frog is back in the house. She called me a frog. What else we got?
Okay, imagine there's green where you see, where you can see through the box, because it's a green screen.
Okay, yeah, I got you. I got it.
And
Oh, cool.
it's a little bit of love. It's a little bit of magic, you know.
I'm gonna try. I'm looking at it right now tonight. After I get out of here, we'll do that. Anything that helps, I'll do it.
Yeah, and it's not bad for you. It's you know that black licorice numbing effect.
Yeah.
Pumpernickel, whatever seeds those are, where you chew them on as a kid, and you know, and it's got this little bit of a numbing. That's kind of what it feels like. It just takes away.
Yes,
it's just a shock. It's kind of like a shock absorber, and it gives you a little bit of breathing room.
Cool.
You know.
Yeah, Zombie 5, welcome. I have tried gargling with salt water. It just doesn't help. So I'll try that stuff. Thank you.
Between salt water, if you put a little baking soda and salt water in there, and don't be afraid to allow yourself to swallow a small part of it, because that's where the problem really is. It's down deeper.
Yeah. Mermaid, thank you for the ship. Puddin' Hollow, what's going on? Warrior in the Gardens here. He's right there.
Hey, Bruce Q. Wayne, howdy to you too.
Band Mom, how you doing? Thank you for the email. The direct message, Band Mom. Who's here? Bruce Q. Wayne. Hey,
Yeah,
Bruce.
Batman.
Bruce. Okay. There's
He's
Spaz.
my best Jewish friend.
Spaz, you coming up or what?
Oh my God. Oh, not the Jews.
Thank you for the can, Spaz. I'd like to have you on the panel.
Yeah, if you could just fucking use the link, Spaz.
Yeah, I'll take that link. Anytime you're ready. Thank you, Trash Man Green. What's going on? Thank you for the cookies. Okay, like I said, I'm just going to speak a little bit lower. Let's see. Now, this morning, Salty Nuts had somebody on his show this morning.
My 700th.
Yeah, your 700 show this morning, which was Sven K.
Mm-hmm.
Sven K's been on the Pilled, I think, since it started. He was on my Rumble when I did Rumble. Sven K's a good guy, and he's been around a long time. And when I clicked on Salty's channel this morning, and I saw Sven K going off at 100 miles an hour, and Salty trying to get a word in edgewise, which I thought was kind of funny, because every time Salty tried to say something, Sven was just, and he was making a lot of sense about stuff.
Yeah, it's all lost. We're all gonna die.
Going off, but the thing that he was bringing up, which I thought was a very great point, is that nothing is going to happen until we control the media, because the media is what's fueling the stuff that's going on today.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Right? And I know for a fact that Reverend Rant speaks about that all the time. What's up, P-Quest? Thank you. So this is what I want to do. I'm going to start from Warrior, and we'll go up and around the horn here. Do you think that the media, today's mass media, and one thing that you guys didn't bring up was the foreign media, because the foreign media is just as responsible for propaganda in the United States as the American media is. In my opinion, I see it all the time.
Yeah.
So Warrior, how would you, if perfect scenario, how would you try to control the media in order to make people believe truth or lies or this or that? What would be a way that we can solve the media problem in this country? Just your opinion. I'll let you have at it.
You can simply just turn it off. I mean,
Well,
No,
Just turn-
he's
just-
talking
just-
about regaining
Yeah,
control.
regaining control. How
Oh,
would we,
regaining
Yeah.
control of the media.
Taking it out of Obama's hands.
We have to expose who owns it. I think who owns the media, because ultimately they're making the decisions on what the narrative is going to be. So if we expose that who owns the media, the news sources, and who's owned the news sources for a long, long time, then and we understand
guys,
who owns the ownership and what their mission statements are, I think it'd be a lot easier to figure out how we control it once we know who controls it. Because then once you understand who controls it, you can understand their motives, and then you understand their motives, you can understand why things are the way they are,
right?
or what's coming out. So that's where I'm starting. That's where I'm going. So
Now you're not talking about just like the people who are the CEOs of the companies, like the Rupert Murdochs and you're talking about the deeper end of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Higher up.
yeah, because ultimately everybody has a boss. Even CEOs have a boss. They have a board they have to adhere to. Okay, unless you're unless you have small ownership of a small company. So once you understand what the boss's boss is doing, his intent is, then you'll understand because those are the very few handlers, if you will, of everything. And once you understand what their narrative is, but these people are they're a lot of their information is hard to come by, or it's masked in some kind of other format or multiple formats. Language gets, because once you start poking your fingers out and trying to figure out who the boss is, who's actually running the show, people lose millions and millions of dollars. They lose tennis shoe and clothing line contracts. It's just it's a compounding event that occurs that has happened over and over and over and over again. And it's not just a recent thing within the last 100 years. I'm talking about propaganda going back, thousands of years, essentially.
Right. Okay.
So that's where I'm going. Yeah, that's where I'm going with that one.
All right, Mr. Reverend Rant.
Are you ready for this?
Yes, I am.
All right, so there's some deeper issues going on, and there's two ways that I would deal with this. Is one, the issue with Smith-Mundt and the NDAA, and not only legalizing but making it a part of government policy to use propaganda. I would strike that completely.
Mm-hmm.
And I would even go as far, honestly, something I've been throwing around in my mind, I've been contemplating for a while, is I could see, if we get this nation right, I could see some amendments that we need to make to the Constitution to fix some of these things that our forefathers didn't foresee. And one of them is everything around, Smith-Mundt, about the propaganda and the media being able to lie or not lie. Because I want you to understand that, and I know all you guys are little young guys and you don't understand this, you ain't been around very long, but there was a time where if somebody lied in a TV commercial, they would get in trouble for it. Truth in advertising was actually a thing. You weren't allowed to lie. The media was not allowed to lie. Anything publicly disseminated was not allowed to be a lie. You could either be sued for it or held criminally liable for it. And we need to go back to that first and foremost. And I think one of the other things that a lot of people don't think about is that we need to be able to challenge U.S. Code 230C, Section 230C, that protects the media and the social media platforms and everything else, this qualified immunity clause, because they're using it for a lot more than what it was established for. It was supposed to be that you couldn't sue a platform for something somebody said on the platform, but you should still be able to sue the platform for actions of the platform. And yet they're using it as though it's a end all be all shield for everything. And the problem is with that is that it hasn't been ferreted out in the Supreme Court yet. It hasn't been challenged. And the hard part about it is for somebody to have standing to be able to bring it in front of the Supreme Court. So that's the issue in and of itself. But if it could be ferreted out in the Supreme Court and we could bring some accountability, because this is really the issue, because our nation was set up on the idea of the adversarial process. We're supposed to be able to challenge everything. We're supposed to challenge each other. We're supposed to challenge our government officials, our government processes. Everything should be picked apart and double checked to see if it's a good idea or not. And here we are, we've got all these instruments are now being put in place that they're using to protect themselves from that process and ultimately from accountability. And I think that's really where the issue is, because as humans, as people, we're all fallible. We're all gonna cross the line when we get opportunities to, whether we meant to or not. That's just the way of humanity. But if we have the checks and balances, if we have a little bit of tooth in the accountability process, a little bit of ability to bite, then that's what we keep ourselves in balance with. And that's I believe where we need to go with it, because most of these people don't care. They don't care who knows. They know we know, and they don't care.
Right. Okay. Mr. Nuts.
Testicles here reporting for duty. I think circumvention is the way to take back our media. Fine examples would be Kevin Sorbo with he's got his own, Hollywood scenario where he can now produce movies and air them and get them into shows. He's got a lot of evangelical support with that. And and then a guy like Owen Benjamin, he's 45 minutes north of me. He's got a magazine called Beartaria Times, and it has no ridiculing normal stuff that you normally see off of him. It's all just wholesome gardening, building, homesteading, knitting, crocheting, whatever. It's just a holistic magazine. And then we've got alternatives like what was the name of that comic magazine that replaced Mad Magazine, but for conservative?
Flip City.
Flip City magazine.
So we've got our Flip City mag, and we've got our BitChute and our Rumble and our Odyssey and Foxhole. We've out of necessity, we've slowly circumvented around the outside of the big machine, and we gravitated towards what was good. And now I often speak of natural progression of how this is going to come off without a shot fired. We have solutions and we have resources in front of us, and smart people are putting them to use. And I think that's going to be the way through. We don't have to destroy, recreate. It's a small, slow but infectious process. When people see good, they gravitate towards good, because, like I said, humans aren't born evil. We gravitate towards, with the law of attraction, we will navigate ourselves to something that we aspire to be. And you notice that we're still teaching our sons and our grandsons. We're passing these things on, despite all the shrapnel we're taking. We're still passing on what is good, what is wholesome, how to be better than me. Here's how you do it. And we're passing that along. And I don't think that we have to go after these people. I think that they're going to kick and scream for our attention at some point. And you've seen it within CNN. You've seen it with all these people that are, the Cuomos, all the Don Lemons and all this stuff. You've seen them get mocked for being outed. They're being ridiculed now for being booed off the stage. So I don't think it's going to be difficult. I think it's going to be time consuming. And we here on Foxhole and in the podcast world are hoping for it to be faster, but your normal person out there mowing his lawn doesn't see what we see and will eventually hop on board when they're attracted to it, because they're not pieces of shit out here. That's not how America was formed. And I think that's the way we're going to go through. It's going to be a slow and natural process to bring back goodness in every aspect of our life as possible. We want that. We truly do. We don't want, I mean, I get a little upset sometimes, and I'm like, yeah, I'd like to curb stomp the fuck out of that piece of shit, you know. But I don't really want that. I don't want to spend my energy that way. I'd rather put it towards good. And I think that's how we're going to get through this with the media. I don't think we need to annihilate or change anything they're doing. I think we can restart our own, and they can then come kowtow to us and ask us for a spot, and we can decide whether they deserve it or not.
That's a good idea. Spaz, did you hear the question?
I'm not sure if I heard the question, but I've heard a lot of answers.
Okay, so the question was, how would you fix the media problem? Basically, how would you fix the problem we have with the media in this country or even abroad? Kind of turn it our way and stop the propaganda and the lies.
Well, you know what? As harsh as it may seem to be, I find embarrassment and ridicule to be an awesome motivator. And, you know, just like back in the day when we used to build bridges in school to see what works, you know, sometimes you need to stress things to the point where they might break, because, you know, we are as strong as our weakest link. So maybe we want to get that link out of the way or expose it. So yeah, I think I think ridicule and embarrassment. I mean, once you get enough of that going around, nobody's going to want to listen to those who have been ridiculed and embarrassed.
Yeah, safe and effective. You get it. Yeah. When we start mocking them with their own words, you know.
Yeah, because eventually they're going to have to come to terms and try to explain their position. And once they begin to explain their position, they'll realize they are sinking in sand. And it was a moot point to begin with. And just let it fall into the sand and jump aboard somebody else's ship who's obviously been floating for a while, you know.
That's the beauty of a truth versus a lie. You always have to repair a lie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, keeping with the media theme, were you done, Spaz?
Oh yeah, I'm
okay.
Just flowing, man.
I didn't want to cut you off.
Oh, it's okay.
But keeping with the media theme, I've been noticing the last few days that they've been throwing out a net for Joe Biden, calling things fake. It's or deep fakes, or whatever Jean-Pierre Claude Van Damme lady was saying when he was in Normandy, or when he was at the Juneteenth.
The G6. We call it a G6 because he wandered off.
Yeah, exactly. And now they're the whole of American media, including, I mean, I saw it on Al Jazeera, I saw it on WEON, I saw it on Bloomberg. They're all trying to cover while he's turning around, doing stuff and walking around like he's in a different dimension. Who knows?
A cheap fake.
Yeah. Now I don't understand. Thank you, Mermaid, and Sean Joe. Thank you for the can. I'm not understanding why they're taking this route, and I think it's because of the debates that are supposed to be coming up.
Desperation.
I think so. Well, whoever wants to speak on that can speak on it, but personally, I don't see how you can have a camera watching somebody on live television and then turn around the next couple of days later and say it was it was fake. It didn't happen.
The fun part about it is that that same video was posted from multiple angles by multiple people.
That's what I'm saying.
And usually when you see, one of these AI fakes, first of all, you can if you pay attention, you can tell it's an AI fake because it's not, they're never as fluid as they should be, for what you're watching. But then also to see that same scene from multiple angles, from multiple sources, and then claim that all of those sources are fakes, this is just pure desperation from the left. See, the problem now, and I think this is a thing we need to point out more and more as we talk as content creators. I think it's important for us and let other content creators, other influencers know this as well. We need to point out that this isn't a problem with the Biden brand. This is a problem with the Democrat brand. We need to let everybody know that this is what the Democrats are doing. It's not that Biden is retarded, and we knew that from the beginning. It's that the entire Democrat Party is supporting that retarded. The Democrat Party is that corrupt. That the Democrat Party has been the Democrat terrorist network this entire time. And now everybody's seeing it for what it is, because I think that's the message. And this is the thing is that all of us that were going to vote for Trump to begin with, I mean, we watch all this go on, we're still going to vote for Trump. That doesn't really change anything. What we have to change is the message that we get out to everybody else and let them know that, hey, you might not be that fond of Trump, but look at what you got on that side of the fence. We need to save America first. Then we can get back to fighting over how to run it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's, I can't not agree with that, because if we don't have control of anything, what are we going to do? Right? What are we going to do? So go ahead. No, please go ahead.
Well, this coming weekend, I'm going to a, call it an event if you want, or a cookout, somewhere in that category. Now, the two people at Red Ice TV, Lana and Hendrik, have thrown me an invite via email. I'm a monthly subscriber over there, and I've been in contact with them on the phone and such. And so I felt that they did their job in vetting before throwing out random invites. And I believe that based on what I've heard so far, I believe there's going to be topics amongst like-minded people along the lines of, here's some ideas of what we can do on a local level to have each other's back, to get the message out, et cetera, et cetera. And I've really, really been looking forward to something like that happening in my small area. So I'm excited about this. And I have a lot of great ideas. I think, of course I got great ideas. They came from me, so I'm looking forward to that. And I don't, because, I can't affect a candidate that's out there. I can't reach out to them. I don't have a big enough voice to say, hey, you need to do the right thing. I can't sway a politician, but I can respond in a certain way. And I want to respond in the right way to the legislation that affects me here at home. So I just thought I'd throw that out there, that a lot of these things are going to be in your local area. Meeting my neighbors, the new guy just moved in with his gal, and I go over there with some eggs, and I say, yeah, I got these 4 chickens. Here's some eggs. Welcome to the neighborhood. If you ever need a half cup of milk or some sugar in the middle of a snowstorm or whatever, you need a jump, I'm right here. I urge you to not be afraid to knock on my door.
If you need to see some testicles.
Yeah. So, and I go out there, and eventually, the topic comes to mind of, the world's moving in a fast pace and not really in our preferred direction. So as it gets crazier and crazier, I like to get to know my neighbors and make sure that we got each other's back. And I want to let you know you can come over to my house, knock on my door, and I'll answer, and I'll help you, no matter what the problem is. And so I'm actually heading off forming. I'm spear, holding the spear on the tip of the spear on this one, where my community is actually going across the street, and I watch them walk over, and they're exchanging goods now. And I'm like, yeah, you go, Salty, because there's a meat guy, there's a veggie gal, and it's just wonderful to see it happen just on my street. And I urge people, don't be afraid to do that. Take the time. If there's something that you can do, that's definitely going to help you out in the long run.
Yeah, that's
That's
true.
all. I just wanted to mention the event that I'm headed to help
So
get a feel and help,
So
throw out.
I got
Wait a minute, Warrior. How is your garden coming?
My garden is growing.
It's
As a matter
growing
of
good.
fact, it's growing. It's, it got in a little late, but it's coming along. So
That's good.
Mhm.
And do you do anything like that? Do you barter with people with the goods that you have?
My neighbors, if I have, it's not really bartering. It's more just giving away. If I have
Oh.
too much, I'll give away, and if
That's
I
okay.
don't, yeah, that's fine. I'll make homemade marinara sauce and all kinds of stuff. The tomatoes, I got sweet potatoes growing right now, so I plan on canning some of those, and then make
Can I ask you a question based on you said you just given stuff away? It's not real,
Mhm.
not bartering, not like you're saying tit for tat. But do you feel now that you've given stuff away, don't you feel that if you needed a jump, you have a neighbor now you can go to, right?
Sure, yeah,
Right
yeah.
on.
Well, those relationships I've already cultivated.
Right.
I've already talked. I've been here for 5 years, and I've talked to my neighbors regularly. I help my neighbors out, and they help me out.
Okay.
It's only just a few people, but it's enough.
Mhm.
Pay it forward.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I do is just pay it forward.
Both of you others, Boiling Point, Spaz, have you cultivated relationships with your neighbors to where if you were in a pinch and needed something immediately, you think?
Well, most
No.
of my neighbors are like, I think my closest neighbor, I have a neighbor, like the closest neighbor is, I want to say right around a half a mile.
Jeez.
So we talk here and there. We help each. I mean, we're country, so out here, like that's just normal. Like we help each other with. Like I haven't had store-bought eggs, and I can't even remember the last time I had store-bought eggs. Now that I'm thinking about it, like we've been eating, local grown. Same thing with tomatoes and all of that. Like here where I'm at, and this is a thing I think is funny because when everybody in the city is murdering each other, literally murdering each other over the last Twinkie, all of us out here, it's going to be life as usual. Like there's a lot of stuff we don't even go to the grocery store for because I live in a country, / farm community. I got ranchers and everybody else, as well as a whole bunch of family farms. Most of the smaller properties out here, like my place right here is one of the smaller properties, and my yard's still 3 acres.
Jeez.
Good.
Yeah. So
No, my neighbors.
What
are
else
right
you got
next
for
door.
us, Pete?
I'm Spaz. What'd you say?
I said my neighbors are like right next door.
Yeah, my
I mean-
neighbor's right there.
You can
Right out the
smell
window.
the dog shit baking in the sun
I know.
real easy.
yeah, I
Well,
mean,
we live in the city. That's why. Basically.
so I have a question that's kind of along the lines of what we were talking about
Okay.
in the political realm. So it looks like, and I got a whole conversation going over here in the chats on my end, on my Rumble chat. And who is going to be? I mean, we know that they're going to throw Biden under the bus, out the window, whatever they do. They're going to throw him off the roof.
If he doesn't
Come
fall
July. I mean, we see that happening. But the other thing that I noticed that somebody brought to my attention today is Hillary Clinton has now created a website called the Office of Hillary Clinton.
Oh,
So that makes me
nobody's
wonder.
going to elect Hillary Clinton.
Well, that
nobody-
makes me wonder if they think that she might be.
Nope.
But here's the question though: is if it was her, if it is her, how well do you think that's going to work? And if it's not her, who else could possibly? I mean, the way I see it personally is it doesn't matter who they try to get. It's too short of a time and too much damage done. They can't undo it. And the Democrat Party's brand is shot, not just Biden's. So then, who do you think and why?
Anybody want to take that question?
Newsom.
No.
So the question is, who, if they're taking Joe out, who's going to replace him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well-
Impeach him all says, I will say it will be Big Mike.
Could
Big
be.
Mike don't
No,
want to run.
I mean,
I doubt it though.
legal by law, it has to be Kamala.
Kamala.
No, it doesn't. Only if they 25th him or he resigns.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as a nominee,
So-
And then
Right,
she's
so
got to
is
work
he-
through
is he-
that anchor baby status shit too, doesn't she? They got to
No.
fake that one out.
She's already
Well,
vice president.
Yeah,
Easy-
they're
easy
not
money.
going to go back and negate that at all.
Right.
Easy Money's saying Susan Rice.
Wow, that's painful.
Mm.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all bad options.
They are
Yeah.
all bad options.
Maybe they can
it's
swear
like-
in on the tarmac.
Yeah, right. Talk about grandkids and golfing.
Maybe
Um,
her airplane door can blow off mid-flight.
I don't think that the Democrat
That's-
Party. I don't think that the Democrat Party has any plans on winning at all.
No.
I
No,
think
because they would be promoting somebody else too.
that's right.
At this point.
Remember, we're only like 19 weeks. I think 19 weeks out of the election, right?
Yeah, like 100 and some odd days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you have to do a lot of stuff in order to get another candidate in there.
Whoa.
Doing all kinds of stuff.
I think they're hoping that Hillary will have enough name recognition. That's what I think. I think that they think she's their best option. And here's the truth. This shows you their desperation. If they think that retard is their best option.
You don't think they'd cheat, do you?
Oh my God, don't even think it. They never would.
What?
But here's the thing
No.
with that is America is pissed
No.
off and awake to that. They're not going to get away. Where was it? They were putting the cardboard up on the windows. Was that Atlanta?
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia.
Bingo.
If they do that this time, that place is getting stormed. There's going to be a riot.
Yeah, probably.
There's too many people watching. There's too many people that are pissed off. If they try that obvious and overt stuff now, there's going to be people present. Like there's going to be bloodshed.
There's going to be milkshakes.
Even if it's just a
thrown.
bloody nose,
Mhm.
somebody's getting bloody.
Someone's throwing a
And I
chair, for
truly
sure.
believe that.
Yeah.
Strawberry milkshakes all around.
Everybody
That's right.
gets one.
Yep.
Exactly. But I don't think that the Democrat Party has any intentions of winning this election.
No, no.
Well,
I don't think
Could
they
you
have any intentions
elaborate a
on
little bit
continuing
on-
after
on-
the election.
Could you elaborate a little bit on that? Why wouldn't they try and win?
Because it's a foregone conclusion that their policies are not beneficial to the American people.
They failed. That's
They
what I
failed.
meant by the
They failed as a
Democrat
political
brand
party.
has failed.
I said this a year and a half ago that the Democrat Party is finished. That everything that they're doing now is straight out of desperation.
So you think they're just going to take the L and maybe kick and
Yes.
scream and call some names on the way out?
No.
No.
Sweep the leg.
No.
No, they're gonna try to initiate World War, or at the very least, they're gonna try to initiate civil/revolutionary war here. But they would rather rule over ashes than be held accountable, because the other side of it is they know. That's why you hear the media crying now. They know that if we gain control and we get control of the courts and everything is done according to justice and law as we were supposed to, then most of those people are going to find themselves swinging. They're all going to be swingers.
The only thing that the Democrats are really seriously concerned about, and I think this is a legitimate concern for them, is that if Donald Trump becomes president, you're going to have at least 2 justices of the Supreme Court retire.
Mhm.
And he'll have 5 out of the 9, 6 out of the 9 picks on the Supreme Court justice, because
And they're upset about that, boy.
they are very upset about that.
Oh my God. He's going to have people on there that actually think about things. We can't have that.
And that's, I think that's the only thing that they're seriously concerned about, because you can't base an entire political campaign on abortion. You just can't do it, and that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
They're trying to base the entire
Well,
campaign on that.
they've catered to the most extreme left, the mental health issue left so far, that they now have no platform. They have no foundation to stand on. The entire party is lost. It's not that Biden is lost, the whole party is lost.
So
I mean, they have no direction, lost.
Impeach them. Hold on. Impeach them all. I want to answer that. I'm not going to read it. Y'all can read his thing over there. But here, let me tell you this. They're not going to nullify anything, because today, and this is a subject I wanted to talk about, Joe Biden was standing at the microphone telling people that he's going to give green cards and amnesty and this, that, and the other thing to almost 600,000 people who are undocumented in this country. Okay? That's including all the DACA recipients.
That's how you forfeit your election.
Which has already gone to the Supreme Court, not only during Biden's administration, but during Obama's administration. And it's been struck down, I think, 3 times. The DACA stuff has been struck down 3 times. And now he's going to do it by executive order. So it doesn't matter. Just like Trump, just like any other fucking president, they can circumvent Congress with a executive order, get to what they want to get passed, and then the next president can come in and just wipe it out, just like he did on day 1 with all the Trump stuff.
Yep.
So I don't think that it's going to be an issue about Trump getting things done. It's going to be an issue of who are they going to put against Trump? I think that's the biggest issue right now.
I
don't think that they have time to pick anybody. I think you're onto something with they don't plan to win, because I don't think they have. There's just not enough time to find somebody that would be willing. I mean, maybe they could purchase the rest of Tulsi Gabbard and stick her up there and go for the women Democrat
Tulsi.
side. I
Tulsi's
don't know.
gone independent, yeah. So here's the thing, though, is that under a normal circumstance, or at least, quote unquote normal circumstance, like if this was 20 years ago, they would still be hard pressed to find someone that could pull it out of the hat in 3 months. But now they would have to try to find someone that in 3 months could undo the entire, ruination of the Democrat brand, the lack of foundation, the lack of direction, the lack of platform, all of it. And it's absolutely impossible. And on top of it, anybody who has any name recognition has already shit in their own shoes, and there's none of them available to pull it out.
Spaz, did you want to say something?
Yeah, see, because I think all this stuff is a distraction. Who's going to run? Blah blah blah. Me personally, I think their only winning move right now is to not have an election.
Yep.
They already know, like you said, they lost. They lost already. They know they lost. So the only other option is to not have an election. Don't go down the road where we already know we're going to lose. So here we are. Right. But
constitutionally, they can't do that.
Yes, but we're not just like making new gun laws. Criminals don't follow gun laws. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So, I mean, make all the laws you want. They don't go by those rules, right? Which is why, what do we? He just signed a 10-year pact with fucking Ukraine. I'm sure that went well over with Putin because he's parking boats off the coast of Florida. Just to,
Oh.
I'm sure it's just a demonstration, right? It's just whatever, a tactical exercise or whatever. I mean, I think they're all distractions. They're just their only move left is to sweep the leg. It's to sweep the leg, and you don't sweep the leg by following the fucking rules. You don't do that. So
Truth.
I think it's coming. I think it's coming, and we all need to recognize it as exactly what it is. It's the last desperation attempt of something that's failing, that's dying.
Yeah.
That's
I think they
so
would rather try to rule over ashes than not. I agree.
Warrior, are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay. So here, let me give you this question.
Okay.
How do you think they would stop this election from happening?
There's a lot of ways you can stop. There's a lot of ways you can stop the election.
How? Give me one.
Well,
War.
I keep saying, you can put 5,100-pound bombs around the United States pretty easily, considering we still don't have the that I know of. We don't have any location on where the 60,000 pounds of ammonium nitrate's at.
Okay.
You have God knows who's coming across our border at this point from the southern part. So you have all these, at least, just logistically by the numbers, just thinking about it, we probably have 30 million illegals in our country right now, if not more.
Probably
And
more.
say 10 to 15,000 of them are very violent people. And they have various skills of bomb making and of terror. You can pay somebody. The cartel is clearly going across the border back and forth without any hindrance at all. So who's to say that they get a little trigger time by coming into one of our cities and just shooting? Everybody has a 150 round drum magazine, and they just empty it into various parts of the city. And they can do that to all those cities in our country, all the big ones. So to me, it makes sense to have terror being the point of keeping people away from the polls, because you can also have, early voting, or not early voting, but it's going to take one drive-by at a poll station for people to go home. And you have 50 people killed at a polling station waiting in a line or more, and that all, 50 different locations across the United States. Whoo, that's going to trigger some people. I'm telling you, it's the level of violence will not surprise me for whatever it is, whatever comes our way, because I think it's going to be violence, to be honest, because like you guys kept saying, they literally have nothing to offer except for fear and terror. The thing that they've been pushing, the Democratic Party and the propaganda has been pushing for a long, long time. Fear, 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 fear. So if you apply that in a very kinetic and calculated time frame, then you'll it'll intensify the fear factor, where people are like, it's not worth my life to go vote. People will say that. And they won't. So they'll because the word will travel very, very fast if that happens, and everybody knows it. Why? It's because the mainstream media will push it. They'll push that fear. They'll push they're good at it. So they had practice in it. And when COVID, not too long ago, or this bird flu will come up, and they'll actually have bodies dropping in the streets, like we didn't see in the first round with COVID. Maybe those people who got jabbed, maybe they will be targeted, and they will have they'll be dropping in the streets, or just dying in their cars, creating accidents everywhere. Who knows? I mean, honestly, the list is endless of what the possibilities. But don't, if you decide to vote, don't go vote. if you decide to vote, go vote. Do that.
Mhm.
Don't be fearful. Just because I'm saying something that could possibly happen doesn't mean it's going to happen at all. It just means I'm
Right.
just answering Pete's question. It's like,
Right.
what could happen? A lot of
Yeah, no,
things could
no, I
happen.
want an honest answer.
Yeah, a
And I
lot of
know I
things could
can get an
happen.
honest answer.
Yeah.
Now, staying with that theme, and I'll pose this to anybody, doesn't matter who answers it. Do you think that the Democrat Party or the Rhino Republicans or whoever you want to call them, the Uniparty, however you want to call these people, you think that they would stoop to this level in order to keep power in this country?
Yep.
No. I
Absolutely.
think it goes. I think it
No.
goes a step
Hold on.
further.
Hold on. I'm not finished yet. Knowing how well armed the citizenry in this country is,
Sure.
now you can answer.
Yeah, they'll definitely do that because we have a lot of quote unquote soft targets, and if you want to create a massive amount of terror, you would go after soft targets.
They're
Children,
looking for reasons to legitimize bringing in the blue hats. Trust me, and all it's going to take is a couple of armed patriots.
They're looking for that. Salty's right. They're looking for a response.
I think they're
If they're gonna go, if they have nothing else, and they do this this last minute sort of event, if you will, whatever. It's got to be while they still have power in the White House. So I mean, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen sometime from now until January.
It could be
19th.
something as stupid as, hey, here's this guy dropping dead from bird flu. We're going to act on this and we're going to invoke this. Here's your new Fauci speaker for the bird flu. And he's going to tell the president what to do.
Well,
and now
in order for something like that to happen,
lockdowns, here comes all the stifling. We're going to really kick it to them. We're going to, if they think the last lockdown and business shutdown was bad and the economy got hit, wait till you see what we're going to do now. And then you're going to meet up with resistance. I think that no matter what path that they take to get there over something that they've set up, like a volleyball game they've set up for a spike, they've already laid the foundation for a wide multitude of angles they can do this from, as far as legitimately stopping an election, halting it, pausing it, delaying it, call it what you want. But this type of thing, they've already set the stage for, whether it be a certain amount of FEMA camps and all this, spying technology and AI and all this crap. So I think they're looking for somebody to pop off and fight back, out of, whether it's a super small militia or just some lone wolf guy going out there and taking a couple of politicians out. I think that's going to light a fuse, and they're going to be like, all right, UN, blue hats, get on in there, round them up, there's our opportunity. They took the bait.
I think it's going to be worse
So
than that.
I think what I believe is actually a lot more nefarious than that. And it also plays into what they've done already. I mean, first we have to consider how much obstruction they put when Trump was in the first time. They're so angry and upset. They got to destroy the economy, everything, just to prove that Trump was the bad guy. We destroyed it so we could prove he was the problem. Even Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve, the Rothschild money mafia, had to screw with the economy because he wanted to show that Trump was the bad guy by being the bad guy, to show that Trump is the bad guy. I'm not sure how they figured that out, but what I really believe is going to happen, and I think, and Josie brought it up in the chats earlier too, is that Trump's going to get the election, and then they're going to try to do everything that we just talked about and probably more, but they're going to try to do it under Trump so that they can say, oh, look, what a bad guy Trump is. Oh my God, he's so terrible. All these things are happening in the United States. Like, we're so stupid, we can't see who's doing what. Just like the first time. The very first time we saw that all these, they want to say, well, Trump's so divisionary. It's like, no, all of you shitheads are divisionary. You threw a temper tantrum because Trump was the president. And this is the same game plan that I think they have. They're going to let Trump get into office, and then they're going to go ahead and start giving out the orders to all of their invaders and everything else. They're going to try to call in NATO. They're going to say, oh, the country's falling apart. We got to give our sovereignty over to protect it and all this other stuff. But they want to do it under Trump so that they can write down in the history books, because these petty little children can't let go of Trump. They can't just get past Trump. And I think that's going to be a big part of the play. I think we're going to see Trump in the White House, but that's when the mess starts. That's when it really starts getting bad.
Spaz, did you want to say something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, look, how do you fuck up an election? Honestly, I think one of the best ways to fuck up an election, especially now since we have electronic elections,
You could recount it for 2 years.
is to take the fucking power out. You take the power out, nobody's counting shit. Nobody's reporting shit. The TVs are out.
Do
You
in
get any kind of
Arizona.
information.
You could pull in
anything-
Arizona. and
Anything
just-
could happen when the lights are out.
Yeah.
And we already got how many fucking people here, living off, are already angry because of the trek they had to make to come here to get all this free shit. And all of a sudden the lights are out. Yeah. What's going on in Chicago with the lights on? Just imagine if just a simple thing like boop, lights out.
Yeah. I
For
would
an
I would
election?
ask the cynical question of who do you think Dominion's voting for this year?
Yeah.
They made it a point that was a feature of the machines, that they can go in and change the fucking votes.
So here's another question. Because that's a great question podcast. So I got lots of questions. We've already been through scenario after scenario with this kind of stuff that we're all talking about here. And do you think that the American people, even the cynics, would put up with this if it actually happened? They would say, okay, now I see that this was done on purpose the first time because they're trying to do it again.
No, I think we'll take the bait this time. I think
You
we'll
really
take
think
the bait.
so?
I do believe so.
I think that something Salty touched on a little bit ago, because this is something else I've thought about, and I think Salty, you're absolutely right, and I don't think you understand. Well, you might, but understand just the big implications, because I hear everybody all the time like, well, if we had civil war, who are you going to fight? You going to just go out in the street and start shooting people? I mean, and I get that reaction from a lot of people, but no, if we have civil war, which it will never be civil war, it will be revolutionary war. So even if somebody says civil war, it's still going to be the government. But here's the thing. This is what I really think could and most likely will be if we go down that road to a kinetic exchange, as it were. It's going to be somebody shooting a politician and then retaliation shooting another politician. And that's what's going to start to divide. The politicians are going to be the target, because right now, the last poll that I heard when they were talking about it was 93% of America believes it's time to start assassinating politicians. And that's people on both sides of the fence. So I think that's the road we go down, and everybody rallies behind whoever they're so offended got shot, and they go shoot someone else. And I think
But it's
that's
always going to be somebody else that's going to do it. I'm
well,
not gonna
they,
be a politician.
as a collective,
You're not.
as a collective, they
Nobody here
took
is.
too much power. As a collective,
when the law no matter applies, then what's to stop good men from doing bad things?
Yeah, but you think the country's at that point?
I
Half
think
the
that if
people in this country don't even know who the fucking president is. They don't give a
if
shit
they stop
about an election.
like they're talking about stopping electricity and all that. That's been coming out lately as well. Klaus Schwab talked about it several months back. He talked about the idea that, we're going to have to shut down for like 6 months because of the internet or some silly shit he had to say. And I think that if you stop electricity, and it's not the loss of electricity that's a problem, it's all of the other things that go along with it. All the retail stops, all the trucks stop running, gas stops pumping, business doesn't get done, food doesn't show up at stores, people get hungry, and that is when everything goes crazy. And that's when people start looking for who's at fault. You did this, I'm killing you, and pow, pew, pew. We're armed society. That's where it starts.
If I were a politician, Pete, if I were a politician, my biggest fear would be the flyover states. I would not be afraid in a big political scenario because I've been able to pit one against each other for the longest time so very easily.
Yeah.
But try that in a flyover state and watch. They know better.
That's true. But I don't, you have to. I mean, it's all good and fun to talk about stuff like this, and people think that it's that something like this can possibly happen, but it can't. It literally can't happen in this country. We're not a how do you say? We're not a little country. There's hundreds of millions of people in this country.
340
or more.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Well, last count, we were somewhere around 340 million.
Okay.
I would agree with you to the extent of it can't happen until you see the green light. So watch out for alternative media giving you the green light.
Green light to what?
Green light to go ahead and pull out your politicians. Everybody else is doing it.
Who is going to give me a green light?
Well, it depends on if you're watching some guy on a podcast or whatever, and he's showing all this footage of what's happening in Illinois and Kentucky and Nevada and these little, Ohio and North Dakota and stuff. These flyover meaningless. No. Here's what's going down, and they're literally, pulling out politicians and they're throwing a rope over a tree. And so that would be effectively a green light of, hey, these politicians, if I can see this, so can they. Hence, green light. Go time.
Now, I gotta
just saying.
I gotta throw out an idea in the middle of this.
Go ahead.
Hold on 1 second. Go, Pete. What was that? You did it.
Look, I'm not. Most people in this country can give shit one about politics, about anything that we care about. They don't care. They go to work, they pay their mortgage, they pay their their car notes, their kids go to soccer, blah, 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 blah.
But it doesn't take most people.
Okay. You think those people are just, what are they going to do? They don't know what a green light is. They don't listen to Alex Jones. They don't listen to Owen Schroyer or whatever podcaster that says, okay, it's go time.
Well, I think you're thinking on a larger scale. What about little pockets?
Okay, little pockets of what?
Little pockets of patriots that are sick of being stepped on.
Uh-huh.
And what if, let's say, I attend this meeting this weekend, and unbeknownst to me, that's the topic at hand. Here's the game plan. Here's what we're going to do. So and so is running our state into the ground, and here's our plan of action for accountability. Maybe I don't know. Is that this coming weekend, or is it a couple of months away?
You let me know.
The question I'm not asking is it ever going to happen? I know it is. That's because it's going to go there. Unless something strikes us all down in one fell swoop, we will rise up. That's a fact. That's how I see it.
I think the primary thing is it comes back to food. When you go through history, every major revolution started with the loss of food or loss of economic ability to get food. and that's what they're driving towards here in the United States. They're doing everything they can to either destroy or take over our food. Just like right now in Idaho, they're holding back water from 500,000 acres of farmland that produces the majority of the potatoes and other crops, not just potatoes, but primarily potatoes that the United States eats on, as well as what we export. And they're intentionally destroying it. There's not a shortage. There's not any natural reason for them to do this. They just decided that they needed to do it.
Yeah, destructively.
They were told
Yeah.
to. Like the states stopped counting on election day. They're told to.
Right. So when you take away food, this is the reality. Even good people, even some of the best of us will do the most horrible things if we have to feed our families or if we have to choose between, dying or someone else suffering because we had to live. I mean, when it comes down to survival, people are monsters. That's just the reality of it. And the people who choose not to be monsters are going to be some of the first ones to get ate up by monsters. I mean, that's just the reality of it. That's the hard truth. And that's where we're heading. That's the part that I think is the catalyst to everything. If they want to destroy everything, stop food running. And here's the thing is that they've already taken out too much of the farmland. They've already taken up too much control of the farmland. They've already taken too much control over regular people not being allowed to farm, because most places you can't have a garden in your own damn yard. You can't have a chicken in your own damn yard. So if the retail food process stops, the shipping, everything else, if that comes to a halt longer than 3 days, that's all it
I
takes.
see where
3
you're
days.
at.
You want to know something?
I see where
I
you're
heard
at.
all of this. I heard all of this in 2008, 2009, 2010. I heard all of the same exact scenarios. The UN's coming in to take all of our guns. We're seeing the army going around on trains, tanks, and this and that. Right? They're going to be the FEMA camps.
Yeah.
There's going to be this. There's going to be that. None of
But
it came
this time
true.
around,
That's what they said about the last time.
Yet.
They said the last time. It's this time around. Because remember what happened under Bush. Bush
So
Senior.
how far do you think we're going to tolerate being pushed until they pull out this bird flu catastrophe bullshit?
We already had the H1N1
Well,
during
I
the
mean,
Obama
something that
administration.
actually,
We had 4 pandemics during the Obama administration, and nothing happened. We had the H1N1. We killed. There was a chicken farm. If anybody knows, the Southern California, right at the end of the 605 to the 210 freeway in
How many
Irwindale,
millions?
2 million chickens. They
Millions.
killed every single one of them because of the bird flu. We still had elections. We still had everything.
So let me ask you
Nobody
this.
went to FEMA camps. Nobody was buried into plastic coffins. None of that shit happened.
Pete. Let me ask you this.
Yes.
The road we're going down
Swine flu.
with the diseases, the immigrants, the economic destruction, how far do you think that goes before something breaks? No matter what. How
Thank
far
you.
do you think that goes before everybody says, okay, fuck it, I'm done?
In
Pardon my
2008,
language, but that's the
in 2008, when the a lot of people, including me, had a big problem with their mortgages. Stock market crashes. Right? In 2008. Right? We got through that. And then a few years later, we had, remember Black Friday? Or
I
whatever
don't
it
think
was?
2008 is a comparable scenario to today.
Think about it. Think about what was going on back then.
Yeah.
Right?
I see
And then you had
what you're
stock
doing,
market
Pete.
crash.
I see
Not
where
once,
you're at.
but twice during the Obama administration, twice lost 4,000 points in one day. Nobody, you could still go to the grocery store and buy potatoes and everything that you wanted.
And it didn't cost near as much as it does now.
Well,
It
times
didn't hurt
change.
us. Even during a recession in 2008, our buying power was not hurt near as much as it is right now. In 2008, we didn't have a bunch of people saying, hey, we want to kill you. In 2008, we didn't have a bunch of people saying, hey,
Of
we're
course
going
we
to
did.
intentionally tank the dollar and collapse the economy. In
Abso-fucking-lutely we
2008,
did.
we didn't have people saying that we want to give your entire nation over to the World Economic Forum and to NATO and whatever else and give away our sovereignty. It's a completely different ballgame now, I think.
I like his name for this show right here, Boiling Point. Brings to the topic that I think Pete's asking is that how many times has this scenario got to play out before the frog is
Right.
dead or we realize the water's boiling?
That's exactly it. Is each time this scenario plays out, it escalates. It escalates more. It escalates more. So the question is now is at what point does the frog die? At what point does the nation break? At what point does somebody say, okay, I've had enough?
I think that's the whole thing. I think it's the whole thing to slow roast us into our consent to us, but basically changing the way we think into what they think.
Right.
I think that's the whole point. It was never about complete and total destruction. It was about the color war, the culture war, the whatever the fuck you want to call it, what you think.
Color revolution.
As in 1984, thought police. I mean, we just heard that.
This is where my thought process ventures away from most of you guys, except for Warrior in the Garden. Whereas I think there's a reason this is all happening, and we can go into that later. I think there is a lot of effort being put into putting things exactly where they're at right now.
Yes.
By who?
Yeah, I don't think you want
That's
to
a
go
good
there.
question.
That's a great question. Yes.
No.
Uh,
No.
I'll just say one word, Kazarian.
That was a bait question.
It's Kazarian, okay? Follow the money.
Oh my God, it's those people again in that stuff that they do when they do those things. Oh, it's so terrible. It's
Well,
those people.
We've gone over an hour and a half before those people were mentioned.
I know.
You had to ask, and then I still answered appropriately.
I know.
Yes, you did.
No, it wasn't even 30 seconds in the show when I mentioned it.
Oh, I didn't
So,
hear that.
I didn't say any name exactly, but I told you to look who owns the organizations, look who's the head of
broke the
industries
rules.
and stuff
Oh,
like
it
that.
He did.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
It was
So,
terrible.
that was my
And it was
fault.
awful. It was awfully terrible. I mean, oh my God, the indignity of it all.
Okay, so here. Then I just want to get a kind of a gist for Reverend Rand. How long have you been doing this?
I've been streaming for going on 4 years now.
4 years.
But I've
I
been
know
awake
Warriors,
a lot
you've been
longer.
doing this since Trump, right?
No, officially by myself, like in early 22, but I was on Q&A holes.
No, I mean doing the political stuff. Talking about political stuff.
talking about political stuff,
Yeah.
like online or just in general.
Yeah, just online, like with me, Q&A holes, whoever.
I've been doing it for about 3 years.
3 years. Okay.
Yeah, about 3 years.
Salty, what about you?
Since the threat of Hillary possibly winning.
Okay, so 2016. And
Okay.
Spaz?
Man. Yeah, I wasn't talking no political shit until I started coming on your shows, sir.
Okay. Now you see, this is no reflection on you guys or anything, but you're recent, right? This is recent stuff
Yeah.
that you're dealing with.
Little
See,
slice of time.
from Trump forward, we'll say. Okay? That's why I'm so cynical about when people talk like this, is because I've been doing this since before Barack Obama. I've been
Okay.
in this. I've been in this game late 2007, all through the Obama administration. Right, 8 years of Obama, 4 years of Trump. I've been doing this for a minute. I've seen, and before that, been not on screen but typing like Reverend Rant does with his stories. Used to be on Facebook long time ago, doing political analyzation like that. Before, during the Bush administration. So these patterns that you guys are talking about, I've seen them before. I've seen them all before.
So let's ask you that the same questions that you're phrasing to us is how many straws does it take to break a camel's back?
It's not the straws that's going to break the camel's back. You see, you think that what's going on now is so devastatingly destructive to this country. We got to remember, during the Bush administration, before they put the Patriot Act into play, right? 2001, 2002. How many people were walking across this border?
Okay.
How many people were walking across the southern border that were just walking across into this country? More than we have now. How do you think we get 30, 40 million undocumented people?
Mm.
It happens over time. It doesn't just happen.
Yeah.
Okay? So these patterns that you're looking at, they've been going on for decades.
Yeah, but I kind of have to disagree with you too.
Since this,
You're right about the patterns, but my point is that it's escalating. Yeah, the patterns are, but they're getting bigger and bigger every time we go through the cycle. And now the other distinction is that the majority of America is feeling the angst of what's going on. So the question is, how far does it go? How far do we escalate? It's not that the patterns are there. I agree with you wholeheartedly. It's the same patterns, but it's every time the cycle comes back around, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and it gets more destructive every time. So how many revolutions does this pattern have to come back around before it reaches the breaking point? Because it's going to reach the breaking point. So that's really the question.
But is it going to reach the breaking point now? Absolutely not. Because
Why?
you don't have enough people in this country that give a shit. They don't give a shit. And that's the problem. That's the biggest problem is people
I think
don't give a shit.
I think it's a catalyst issue. If something happens, and this is where they make their mistakes, is like they want to jack with the food or something like that. If they do something that starts it, then it's on. If they keep the status quo and leave everybody alone, to a certain degree, then you're right. You see what I'm saying? That's where we're at. That's the balance point. I think now we're balancing again on the edge of a knife blade, and it could go either way. It's just going to take one catalyst, one thing to start it. And that's my consideration. And the whole thing is, if they do something, and they know they're on the edge, and if they do something to start the fire, then I think this is the breaking point. If they back down, like if we get Trump in and we get control and we can back everything down, then yeah, we'll go on until the next revolution of this bullshit comes around again.
Okay. So let me ask you this question, or anybody this question. When Hillary Clinton lost, now, if anybody doesn't understand, there was an agenda called Agenda 21.
Right.
When Hillary Clinton lost, did anybody go to a grocery store and there was nothing on the shelves? As a matter of fact, during the pandemic, besides the stupid toilet paper shit and the paper towel thing, which was ridiculous,
It was.
did anybody not buy food at a grocery store?
No.
Of course not.
I don't. The least stocked areas was the toilet paper and paper towel aisle,
Okay.
and everything else was fully stocked.
Of course,
Amen.
everything else was fully
Right.
stocked.
Same here.
Okay.
But that's why I say catalyst. If something
We got
stops,
100 days to this election. What's going to make it stop? That's my
It
question.
could be anything. Maybe another 2 million chicken. Who knows? But I think what Reverend Rand is getting to is that there's only so much a freedom-loving American in a whole, whether he watches podcasts or not, is willing to take, knowing that he's out there busting his ass for his kids and his kids, and now you can only limit bump stocks or put so many furries or trannies in a school thingy. There is going to be a quote unquote boiling point.
I think
where-
it goes. I think you're right, but it goes a step further because now you got people that are pissed off, and if somebody does something that triggers that person or those people, and I think it's something big. I mean, this is my thinking. Okay, most people won't do anything until the shit hits the fan, and then they're ready to act. So all the people that you say don't give a shit, those people will give a shit when the pile lands in their lap. The question is there going to be something that causes that pile to land in their lap? Now, we have the World Economic Forum, even Klaus Schwab, before, he retired over his, I don't know, butthole surgery or whatever his issue is. But he even said that, we predict there's going to be a reason we're going to have to shut the electricity off for 6 months. Well, think about the implications of that, because you're not just shutting off electricity. You're stopping gas pumping. You're stopping stores from running. You're stopping the internet. You're stopping trucks. Trucks
Water.
aren't going to be running to deliver food. That would be a catalyst that would start the fire. There's a whole number of scenarios. The question is are we going to get through this cycle of bullshit, as you described it, this cycle that we're in?
So are you talking about shutting off the power globally?
No, just the
doesn't
Chinese
take global,
owned
it takes the United
power
States.
here in the U.S.
Yeah.
Just during peak hours.
See
But
now.
the
What about
point
what
is-
about the global implications? Right?
I
you're
don't
talking
spend a
about-
whole lot of time. I don't spend a whole lot of time thinking about the global implications. If we can't
Okay,
get
so-
ourselves right, who cares what they do?
Okay, so here's the thing. This is what you call extrapolated thinking.
Right.
Okay. The United States gets the power shut down for 6 months.
Yep.
How does the government function?
Carrier pigeons.
They don't.
Okay. How do all of these countries carrier
I'm
pigeons,
joking. I'm joking.
smoke signals?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
How do we pay countries their foreign aid?
Oh, you can't. Well, you can't. If there's no power, you can't print off the money.
How
So
do
they
we-
wouldn't
how do
shut
we
the
feed-
power down.
How do we feed the 40,000 troops in South Korea?
Mm.
How do
So-
we feed
so
the 50,000 troops in Germany?
how do we do all that if they collapse the dollar, which is inevitable?
gonna
at this
happen.
point? You don't
Okay.
think the dollar is going to collapse?
Nope.
Collect all the gold
Nope.
first.
Nope. You see what I'm saying? That thinking of that is just going to be the U.S. You got to understand the U.S., the United States.
No.
for
I
as many
get.
problems as we have is the linchpin to
Mm.
the entire planet. Without
Right,
the United
but-
States, the planet collapses.
That's what the World Economic Forum has stated is their goal. That's what George
Thank you,
Soros
Mermaid.
has stated is his goal. The National Endowment for Democracy, it's their goal. The SPLC, it's their goal. The ADL, it's their stated goal.
Jewish,
they want to
Jewish,
knock.
Jewish, and Jewish.
They want to knock.
Fucking knew it.
I'm just gonna say it the obvious, people. I mean, I'm it's true. You look into it, you follow the money. They're all led by Jewish people,
That's why
But
you're
the
not allowed
point
to look into it.
right?
The point is that they've all said they want to knock the United States out of being the economic power in the world.
Hold on 1 second, please. Hold on 1 second. Black Mamba, you're now a mod on D Live. Okay. You're a mod. You're a moderator on D Live now.
I don't know if you missed it, but earlier, PQuest did a cash app to you. So
Did it what?
he did a cash app to you.
Amen.
So if you see a name that's unrecognized on Cash App, that was PQuest.
I didn't even see it.
That's
I
okay.
have
It's
my
been a
volume.
while.
We got.
I
been
have my
about an
volume
hour.
turned down.
I already thought. I already thanked them.
Oh yeah. Thank you, Patty.
Wait, you're not.
Thank you.
supposed
Thank
to
you.
say her
Thank you.
name. There you go. Bequest.
I didn't want that to go unmentioned. I've been trying to get in there, and
Thank you. I didn't see that because when I do my show, I turn my volume down and leave it on vibrating. I actually feel kind of good right now, even though my voice is messed up.
Like
So
a
I'm kind of
professional.
moving around and I'm kind of animated, so I didn't even feel it. Thank you,
Animated.
PQuest.
so
I feel
you
like
honestly
I'm
think that we're going to
Uh,
learn to adapt to the new shrapnel that they plan on hitting us like we did last time?
to tell you the honest to God's truth, in my opinion, and like I said, this is only my opinion. I think there are more people who care. There's Peepcast. Appreciate that. There's more people now that don't care about politics. That shrapnel is going to fly right by them. And the only thing that they're going to be worried about is being able to work a couple of extra hours a week or maybe pick up a part-time job so they can afford to do those things with their kids. And they're not going to be worried
I
about
can't disagree with that. I'm already making accommodations for our family to move in and have like two of the kids in the trailer that we just bought, and maybe building a room inside the garage.
Thank you,
for
Black
somebody
Mamba.
else.
Mm.
So I'm already mentally preparing for what's to come. So I think you're onto something. I don't know which way to hope. I'm kind of hoping that the kinetic stuff takes off right away so that we can get this over with and
It's
whip
not
some
going to be
ass.
any kinetic stuff.
Oh.
I'm just telling you now. What happened on January 6th? Okay, what happened on January 6th
Was a
could
perfect
have-
opportunity.
could have been something devastating. Not what the media made it out to be.
Mm.
Okay, they made it out to be some sort of servile insurrection. It wasn't none of that.
Yeah, old ladies waving flags.
It could have been something devastating. And it wasn't. And they turned people, there's people sitting in DC jails right now, 3 years later, that still haven't seen the inside of a courtroom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And all
So,
those breaking windows that had masks.
I hear you, Pete. I
not
hear you.
arrested.
so
I got the memo.
the Patriots, okay, there's going to be people who are going to do stupid shit. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a dumbass. I know exactly what you're talking about. But the majority of people are not going to go to violence because if they look and see violence doesn't solve anything. We're not in a World War II setting, right? We're not there. We're not in a
Thank you for
Vietnam
the ship,
or
Pam.
this. Oh, Pam, thank you so much. We're not in any kind of scenario like that. The American people right now want to get over this inflation. They want to get over this hump that we're in right now. And if going to the polls and electing somebody who says grab them by the pussy or is a convicted felon that's going to do it, then they're going to do it. But as far as the Klaus Schwabs, the UN, the FEMA camps, I've seen this all before. I've heard it all before. I've done 1,000 shows on this shit.
So you think we got some more boiling room, huh?
Well, a lot more boiling room. A
Wow.
lot.
I don't look forward to that.
I don't either. I really don't either. But look at it, like I said, in an extrapolated logical way. And if you look at it like that, and look at what happened during the most devastating times in this country after 9/11, right? After 9/11, what happened? We lost a ton of freedoms,
Yeah, we did.
okay? 20 years later,
Still got
Hey,
him. Still,
we-
still ain't got him.
we still ain't got them.
And we're not
Okay.
gonna.
And we're not going to get them. Under
How
Trump,
far?
he could have dissolved the Patriot Act, but he renewed it. Okay?
How far?
Under Trump, he could have dissolved the Smith-Mundt Act, but he
Good.
didn't.
Right.
Under Trump, he could have taken out the 230 protections on social media, but he didn't. You follow what I'm saying?
Yes.
I wish more people understood the three things that you just said.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, there's over, I got between, I don't know, all the platforms here, whatever time it is, well over 150 people that know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of people I'm sure in Reverend Ranch chats too. And thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. Thank you,
Amen.
Mermaid, for the can. That understand and have been following this stuff long enough to know that Trump is not the savior. He's not the be all end all of what government is supposed to be.
Right.
Right.
Okay, we all agree on that. I want Trump to win this next election because I want him to be the placeholder for something better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I want the breathing room.
Yeah. I hear
No.
that. I understand that.
Thank you, Pequest. Not necessarily that he's going to go in there and retribute everybody. But in my heart of hearts, I can't get on board with the Klaus Schwabs. We know where the money's coming from. We know the lineage. We know all of that. But you also have to remember, we got 340 million people in this country. And how many people vote for president?
Yeah.
16
Not
million,
enough. Yeah. Yeah.
right? 16 million out of
Well, I mean,
300,
Biden, 82 million. 82 million people voted, apparently.
82 million. Yeah.
Yeah, supposedly.
I thought it was 74 million plus 81 million,
That's what I meant. 100 million,
Oh.
not 16.
Yeah.
160.
That'd be, 170 million people.
Right.
but only 133 million registered voters.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's at 100%.
Stop with that
voted.
racist math. Would you?
I'm sorry.
Just
That's all. I do
bigot.
math. My brain hurts.
Look,
Um,
I get what he's saying, but I'm also trying to see the point. And and I think the point you're getting across is whatever they fucking do, we always come back to we're the people in power. We're the ones who keep doing things. The Klaus Schwabs of the world, they have to work for their agendas to get through.
Fact.
And right, they do. And you know, all the Joe Bidens have to work to get their policies, their fucking 1990s cocaine acts and shit to get through.
Yeah, but instead of convince us, now they're ramming it down our throat forcefully, and that's where you start seeing a separation of what's normal and what's not normal.
Okay, so we're understanding what our gag reflex is, and trying to figure out, you know, where we're going to have to spit and or turn our heads from. So, you know,
So here's something, Spaz.
Hmm.
Has anybody noticed over the last 3 presidents that we've had, Obama, Trump, and Biden, the circumvention of Congress when it comes to laws.
It's almost like they have no power anymore.
Thank you.
Strongly worded letters. What the fuck? You know,
Right.
hearings, meetings.
You had Merrick Garland, the Attorney General, held in contempt of Congress with
Contempt.
a vote. Contempt. Did I say that?
Yeah, you did.
What did
Yeah.
what did I
No,
say?
you said. Yeah, I'm just repeating what you said.
Oh, okay. Contempt of, I thought I said something wrong.
208 to 207, I think it was.
Yes, but still held in contempt of Congress. And the Justice Department comes out and says, don't worry, we ain't prosecuting him.
Damn.
Right? Just like that.
Right. I'm not saying hang
Joe
people.
Biden, once, twice, 3 times during the Obama administration, got shot down for DACA and making those people citizens. And then today writes an executive order to make all the DACA recipients citizens, completely circumventing Congress and the Supreme Court.
Oh, all the dreamers, huh?
Yeah,
Wow.
and their families.
We
Right.
don't need a president. We don't need a president.
No, we don't need a president. We don't need a
No.
Congress.
No, at this point we don't.
We don't really need them.
No.
Because
Well,
the president of the United States is going to do what he wants when he wants.
It's our king, dictator.
How many
right?
times?
Yeah.
How many times has it gone to court about the student loan forgiveness? 8 times. Twice in the Supreme Court got shut down because constitutionally the federal government cannot cancel federal debt.
Right.
And Biden did it, $7.5 billion with it a stroke of a pen,
Oh, it just
completely-
disappeared?
completely circumventing not only the Supreme Court, the lower courts, and the Constitution. And nobody's batted a fucking eyeball.
Yeah. No, I see where you're making points of as to unprecedented things that have been done, and we have endured it. We have moved on. We have put in a couple more hours a week. I know what you're saying. We differ on when do you think the bow breaks. But that's okay.
No, I mean that's perfectly fine. I have no problem having a difference of opinion with anybody. I just don't think that this country is not there. It is not there. What the hell is that?
We're still good. We are still oh so good.
Oh, that was a phone. Okay. All right. So here, I'm going to bring you up another question, which has been in the news. Congress just passed a bill, or is going to pass a bill, that you're automatically going to be registered for the draft. Men, 18 to 26. Now I know, Salty, Spaz, and Reverend Rant, we're all old enough. Maybe even you too, Warrior. You're about 10 years younger than most of us, though.
Yeah, but
I had to
three
sign
kids.
up when I turned 18. I went down to the
Did you?
post office.
Okay,
I did.
that-
I
okay.
signed up for
Selective
the
service,
reserve.
yeah.
Did everybody here do that?
I did, but not my 3 youngest kids.
Did you guys do that? Reverend
I
Rant?
did. Yeah, I did.
Okay, so apparently we're not getting enough people in the military because today's society is not wanting to join the military.
Gee, I wonder why.
Yeah, but
yeah,
to
I
fight
wonder
for
why.
What? Fight
Um,
for
Well, they
what?
refuse to pay for my transgender surgery.
Oh my
Yeah.
god. Is that why you joined the military?
Yeah,
I can't put sequences and sparkles on my uniform. So fuck them.
I want to bedazzle my helmet.
Yeah, right. Jesus.
You
Yeah, I
want that
want
person,
parachutes for pregnant people too.
you
for
want
pregnant
that
men.
person got
Right.
your 6 when the shit hits the fan.
I don't know.
Fuck no.
No.
I don't want to be in a foxhole with somebody, even if
Oh,
I was 20
here's-
years younger. I wouldn't want to be in a foxhole with somebody
It's not
who
just that;
is.
it's the
It's like,
reason
hold on,
broken
why.
I got to take my medication. I got to take my trans
Oh,
medication.
my eyebrows.
We got Pete. We got technology today. We're able to see why we're going to this war. So nobody wants to get. Back then in Vietnam, it was okay, let's go because we're Americans and we're gonna do it for our country. But now you don't. You take a good look at your phone and you can see why our government's trying to get us to go to war, and we don't agree with it right away.
Mhm. Okay, so my question is, if they're going to draft men, not women, men, 18 to 26 years old, does that include transgender women?
They're men, aren't they? Absolutely.
They're
It
looking
might
at
as well. You're gonna
Boy,
find out
Lance
who's a
Thomas
man,
better
who's a
start
woman
swimming
real
across
quick.
the border.
Yeah, you're gonna find out who's like, I believe that I'm a woman trapped inside a man's body. All right, well, you've now been selected to go to war. I'm a man. I did no, and just all of a sudden it's gonna reverse, and people are gonna be like, well, maybe I don't want, especially all the girls who think they're boys. They're like, well, maybe I don't want to be a boy anymore. Maybe I am a girl. I'm a girl. See,
out
I'm in
of
a
the
dress. Da da
You
da.
just
That's it's
you,
it's so
you
it's
just
so
tell them it
fucking
offends
retarded.
me.
I mean,
Now, hold on.
I
There-
identify as a toaster. You can't talk to me like that.
Look,
right. What about all the Furbies out there? Are they exempt?
Yeah,
Even if
signing
they're-
up for the draft is offensive to me.
So why all of a sudden does our government defining what a man is?
But because the government defines
Ah.
you by your birth certificate, which is
Oh.
how they assign.
Oh,
Hold
well,
on a
well,
second.
do
as
not assume the
property-
baby's gender. Wait till they figure that one out.
No,
Spaz.
no.
Jesus, come on, man.
This is the government we're talking about. This is the government we're talking
You mean my religion? Yeah,
Once
this is my
we-
religion you're talking about.
Once we
Okay, hold
assign
on. Time
a
out.
person-
Everett Home says if you get a sex change, you are not eligible for the field. Check it. Okay, I know. I believe you 100%. But I'm not talking about if you had your whacker cut off or whatever. What I'm talking about is these people who like to cross dress and say, I'm trans.
Oh, like
Oh,
Klinger.
yeah.
They
Yeah,
don't
they're
change
gonna-
their names. They don't
yeah,
do
they're
any
gonna
of that
figure it out real
stuff.
quick.
So
They
like
call them-
Klinger in MASH.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
He's trying to get his what the 206
Trying to get
or-
Section
Section
8.
eight.
I think he was trying to get Section 8.
Yeah, Section 8.
Oh, it's
Um,
Oh, and
crazy.
by the way, I know how to predict if it's a boy. If the rabbi lifts up his head and he's got blood on his cheek, on his chin.
Oh, come on, dude.
Oh, stop it.
That's bad.
And another thing,
Mazel
thing.
tov.
Mazel tov. Why aren't
Oh.
women eligible for the draft? Why don't women automatically eligible
it's-
18 to 26?
Isn't this sexist? I
I
believe it's a sexist code.
Hold
No,
on a
no.
second.
I don't
Because
think-
Does that
can't
mean-
women do everything that men can do? I mean,
that-
I thought that was what was being preached for years.
Does that mean that the government has control of my bodily autonomy?
Yes.
Oh, yes,
Yes.
they do, apparently.
Apparently they do, huh?
Yeah.
Yep.
Because they're forcing me to do something I don't want to do. If I don't want to join the military, but they're going to force me to do it, which means that they have control of my bodily autonomy.
And that's one of the biggest
That's gonna
things that
My body, my
Scanners.
choice.
that's one of the biggest things we fought against when we created the government here in this land.
That's
is
right.
that there was going to be no forcing. The government worked for us according to us. We set the bar, we set the rules. They
Right.
follow them, which is why the Constitution was penned, why the Bill of Rights was penned.
Right.
It wasn't the other way. It wasn't the other way around, like the fucking inbred royals. You know what I'm saying? It's just we
You may
did
be
this-
right, Pete, but I still enjoy having the ability and freedom and finances to be able to hop on a show like this at random for a couple hours and shoot the shit with you guys about what's to come. So you may be right there. We probably have a little more tenacity in us to endure and I was hoping not.
You know what? I was hoping not either. Hold on, let me do this real quick.
Because a change is really something that we need.
I released the gold pills. Guys, go get you some pills. But here's the problem though. Here's the biggest problem though. There's a lot of people who have that mindset of what's happening. And I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm not saying that you're right. All I do is give my opinion. Right? This is my show. As much as it is Warrior Spazz's, Reverend Rants, and your guys and Salty Show. And you guys all give your opinions. And that's the greatest thing about this is I don't think it's going to happen. Reverend Rant thinks it's going to happen. Salty wants it to happen right friggin' now. You know what I'm saying?
It's not that I think it's going to happen. I think it's possible to happen. I think that if the right things line up, it's possible. I also think it's possible that we could turn this ship around completely and be just fine. But we're on the knife's edge. It could go either way.
I think so. I honestly think so. It could go either way. But I'm personally, based on what I've seen in the past and the progression that I've seen into the present and the future, this country is nowhere near it. Nowhere even close to it.
Well,
I'll tell you one of the
all
details.
of your guests have to listen to that because you have been doing this a lot longer than all of us.
Okay,
so we will have that echo in our head throughout the days to come.
One of the catalysts that I've seen that should have kicked it all off is what happened in Manhattan, in New York City, with the tens of thousands of people that went into the city and was stealing everything, using up resources like water, taking over hotels and schools and parks, forcing children to do homeschooling through Zoom because there was illegal immigrants sleeping in the schools. And nobody did a damn thing. Some guy threw some pizza over a fence. There was a couple of people with signs. Nobody did anything.
Well,
including the mayor, the governor, or anybody else.
You got to be careful, or otherwise, you're going to get the Crusades again. Yeah.
It may not happen for quite some time, Pete, but when the pendulum swung this time, when it hit the edge, it echoed. They really fucking hit it out of the park on this one. And I've seen a couple of times where it has swung nowhere near at this capacity. They really, really put the boots to us on this one.
In what respect?
Every part of your life. And the key ones was the demoralization of the fabric of your own being. When they mock you by not giving you justice and giving the evil guy, the bad guy, when they reward him and they fuck over somebody who is born and lived in this country, that type of demoralization will light that fuse faster than any other event. When you slight a man, when you take away his dignity, there's nothing left. I'm sorry. Now other people may take it differently, but as a grown ass man with kids and having accomplished everything in the lifetime, you take that dude's pride away, you slight him, you're gonna cause a problem. And if you do it to enough of them, and you do it enough times,
you're not wrong, Salty. You're not wrong at all.
No, not at all.
There is that ember or that spark, if you will, that could ignite something nationwide. Maybe not. Locally,
pockets that are-
certain areas, absolutely. Small pockets, yeah.
Well, you know the thing
There
that I
are
consider
pockets
too,
right now that
as
that you should understand that they're ready. That ember is afire.
and the other thing that I think we haven't included in this conversation is that so many people are seeing that the law no longer represents them. There's no more law and order. And I think that's probably going to be the biggest thing. But it's again, we're on the knife's edge. It only takes one catalyst. It's going to take one overstep, one big thing to go wrong, and the fire's lit. Or it could go the other way around. We could actually unite our voices, scream back in their faces as a unified people, which I don't really see either, but who knows?
Well, here we all are reaching out collectively,
Yeah.
exchanging ideas.
Yeah.
But
It's between-
we all know when it's going to really matter to us
Yeah.
is when it's knocking at our front fucking door.
Oh, yeah. Well, the
Okay.
one thing that I see is every time we have a hurricane or some big disaster where entire states get, screwed up, flooded, whatever, like we saw Louisiana, we saw Houston,
Florida.
all of that. How the people act, like when the tornadoes hit in the Midwest, all that, how the people act, how the people come together when the turd hits the fan blades. And that's the part that I have faith in, is that when it comes down to doo-doo time, then everybody's ready to help wipe.
Yeah, you may see a little bit of looting here and there, but on a massive scale, what you don't get to see on CNN is neighbors helping neighbors on a massive scale.
No, they
They're
don't
not
want
gonna
you to
show
see
you
that. Yeah, they don't want you to show you that.
see it. Nope.
So I got one thing I would like to interject that's a little bit sideways on point. But I think it's a massively good idea, and I would like to propagate it everywhere. I think that on the chance that we get Trump in the office and we control the Senate and Congress, and we actually encourage some accountability, and some of these people are taken to the courtroom and justly judged, I don't think that the gallows is an appropriate answer as everybody's calling for. I think what the right answer would be, and Ukraine gave us the idea, gave us the hint. We take these people, these corrupt politicians, once we find them guilty, we saran wrap them to telephone poles and then let all of the public have their turn spanking that ass. And if they die from ass spankings, then they die. They shouldn't have done that much duty, but
I think I brought this
I
up
say we
earlier.
pay-per-view it to fund the ammunition and the rope. I
Yep.
say we pay-per-view it.
I think I
say
brought this up
we-
earlier.
we
Pete
saran wrapped
his
them
head.
to a pole
Look at
and
Pete there. He's like,
we
oh
let
God,
Joe
there's
Public-
no fucking hope for this world.
we let Joe Public bring whatever they want. You want to whip them with barbed wire, bring your barbed wire. If you want cat o' nines, if you want to use a good piece of bamboo, hey, if you want to bring that giant pizza spatula that you always see on TV and paddle their asses with one of those, a boat or whatever, everybody get in line. Everybody get in line. I'll tell you what, Pelosi, I hope you got enough vodka to get through this, because your ass is
Hey.
going to hurt when this is done.
That's
Pete, laugh all you want, but boiling point, Mr. Reverend Rant here,
Mhm.
he's just a regular guy. And look at how pissed off. He's
Oh, I
just a
know. I
regular.
understand. I do understand.
Well, I'm a firm believer in the lesson has to be so exacting that everybody watching thinks to
Everybody.
themselves, I don't want to be that guy.
Exactly.
I don't ever want to find myself in that position.
It
because
needs to extend. beyond.
Sometimes, one of the things that I learned in life, and a lot of people don't like talking about this because, oh my God, it's so barbaric. But here's the reality. Sometimes when you have to whoop someone and put them on the ground, that's the lesson for them. But when you rear your boot back and kick their face in after they're on the ground, that's the lesson for everybody watching.
Beach
And
Bum and
before anybody
Mermaid says,
says
I wouldn't,
anything, that is
Yeah, I
a
saw that.
biblical lesson.
she said, Beach Bum and Mermaid says, I wouldn't pay a fucking cent to see it. I'm thinking to myself, Come on, you telling me you wouldn't slip a $5 bill in there when Hillary's getting strung up?
There's plenty of people for that.
Yeah.
Look, if you declassify them as a human, like dip them in green ink that you can't wash off and send them out in the street and tell the world that they're no longer human, they are now classified as an insect.
Outlaw.
I think the problem's going to solve itself pretty well.
Oh yeah.
Look, if you're
Judge
not
them as
acting like a
outlaws.
human, if you're not acting like a human, you're not classified as a human.
Judge them as outlaws.
Send them out in the street.
Yeah. Paint them a certain color and tell the people on the media that they've got governmentitis and
Green Lives Matter.
Deadly
Green
spreadable
Lives Matter.
disease.
I can see it now.
I'm playing my part. I'm
People
doing
are
my part.
taking, Dutch boy paint and just pouring over themselves.
Yeah.
I'm an ally. I'm
That's
an
right.
ally.
Oh no, you got governmentitis. I see it in you.
Don't say
I
that
see
too
you
loud.
twitching.
Yeah, no kidding.
But you know what's the worst punishment for a politician?
What's that?
Not making them a politician.
Oh,
Taking away from them.
Take it away from them. You don't have to imprison them. You don't have to hang them. You don't have to.
We're just
paint
having
'em.
fun. We're
Just-
going down Wood Chipper Avenue. We're having a little
Yeah.
fun.
No, I think
make 'em not
the
a
guy off to
politician.
the side selling bamboo rods while they're all saran wrapped to telephone poles with their pants pulled down and their ass sticking out. I think there's an opportunity to make some money. There's an opportunity to get some retribution, and there's an opportunity to teach a lesson to a lot of future politicians. Because you know what? All of these politicians, and here's the thing: all of these politicians have acted like children. In 1 Corinthians, it says, think as a child, act as a child, spank as a child. When I become an adult, I put away childish things. But it also says, spare the rod, spoil the child. So if we want to teach a child to be an adult, there's going to have to be a little bit of rod in there.
burn to learn,
It's
baby.
not very
Yes,
thick.
the rule of thumb, nothing thicker than the size of your thumb. You can whip their asses with.
I mean, I've got some rebar in my garage. That works.
Pain is an important part of the learning process. It
Actually,
is.
no, I would.
Barbed wire
I
wrapped
like Rev's point there. Except I wouldn't hit anybody. I just go and
No, I
get a
let
bunch of
public
fire
do it.
ants and a bottle of honey, and then pour honey on that ass, and then dump the fire ants on there and see
See-
what happens.
Look,
I would let
See?
Joe Public line up.
he doesn't understand that bears come for honey, and you don't.
Bears, you can smell
yeah,
menstruation.
I mean, what do? You converse with a bear. You reason with a bear.
How
I'm
do you
just
reason
saying.
with a bear?
You,
I
you
know
know
a
how
big-
we don't deal with bears because people got fucked up from them, and we watched them get fucked up, and we learned, that's not what we're gonna
Not
do.
messing
We
with
ain't
the
gonna
bear.
fuck with the bears no more.
Ever at home, you make a good point, and I think it's something that should be talked about a little bit more, because as a whole, we're not violent people, and we don't want to become that. But a good public bare ass whooping
Yeah,
works
that's my point.
works on the biggest ego, and I'm, when people, like I've even fall to it as well as far as this border problem. My idea is if you take a van full of people with semi-automatic rifles and you go down there, the word gets spread. Hey, Jose and Felipe and Juan, they got their asses shot trying to cross.
Yeah.
It's no longer safe. Boom, message sent.
Yeah.
Minimal
Word
damage.
spread.
So there
That's
is
my-
some validity to that, although I hope it doesn't come to it.
You know, when that kid in the Philippines got in trouble for spray painting the graffiti, everybody was up in arms. Oh my God, they're going to cane him. They're going to cane him. They're going to take a bamboo rod and switch his ass. So basically, they're going to do to him what my grandmother did to me a million freaking times. Why is everybody upset about that? My grandmother striped my ass constantly.
That guy hit with a wooden spoon.
Oh yeah.
No, she loved
Frying
weeping
pan.
willow switches, which is about as much fun as a bamboo rod. I'm telling you.
The big
know.
green wooden spoons that they used to hang on.
I
the
still
wall.
have the scars
No.
today.
Yeah.
50 years later, I still have my scars.
When
I have my
everybody
mental
was
scars.
upset about that kid getting his ass striped, I was cheering. Do it. I want to televise it. Come on. I bet you he don't spray paint on shit anymore.
I bet you
Yeah,
he
what-
doesn't.
What were those things called when they put their head and arms through and they stood
Stocks.
in the public square? Stocks.
Stocks, the public, yeah.
How about we just
Well-
go around down thumbing people right in real life? It's like, what are you doing? No, you're done. That's
My-
down thumbs.
Oh, but you know what? Are you referring to like in the Roman gladiator times?
No. I'm just referring in general. Like some people, like, they give you a thumbs up for things, and what if they do something bad instead of like frowning or whatever? Just go. Just shame them with a thumbs down.
Look,
Because
Yeah,
no, I learned a long time ago.
To work.
It was no, you know, like
Psychologically.
in the when they look to the emperor to kill in the gladiator ring.
Hmm.
This means
Yeah.
save him. No.
Yeah.
This means
This is
spare
safe.
his life. This means kill him.
Yep. This means like put away the sword. Keep the sword out.
Yeah, have mercy. Have mercy. And this means to not have mercy. I thought it was the opposite, like everybody else.
Yeah, because they get it wrong in the movies. Then
That's exactly right.
Oh yeah,
it's
all the time.
funny. It's funny how they always
Well-
reverse things and make you think.
And you know
I'm still a firm believer in some ass weapons.
how they found that out? They were digging up a piece of land, and to build a house on it in Rome, and they found a whole house underneath it with the paintings still on the walls.
wow.
Yeah, and then one of the paintings was a gladiator scene, and it showed the emperor with his thumb up, and the guy cutting the guy's head off.
Wow.
Yeah, so they put 2 and 2 together, came out with 9 or something like that. I don't know. It's because
Common
math is
Core
racist.
Goddamn racist math.
Hey,
All right, guys,
Are you still
What?
feeling good? I mean,
I'm feeling okay.
it's always good to see.
How long have you been working with this voice thing, and what do you think was the catalyst that made it get worse?
Chemo?
No, I think it was just that those days that I was, nauseous and vomiting.
Does milk do anything beneficial?
I've tried it all. I'm gonna
Do you
go
think?
look
Do
at-
you think it's a problem with the valve?
I don't think so.
He hasn't tried everything. Have you
Be
tried
cautious of that,
opera
please.
singing?
No,
Okay.
Have you tried opera singing?
I haven't.
Gargling with rocks. Have you done that yet?
Then
No,
you haven't tried it all.
No. Little Pete Gravel and no.
little
Okay.
Pete. No, I
Putting
haven't done that.
rocks in your mouth and
Okay.
drinking soda?
No.
No.
None of us from this distance can do anything other than talk to you, Pete, and
Yeah, that's
come
fine.
out with
Yeah.
suggestions and stuff like that. And
If,
like
if
I
you
said,
try,
here's all I got right now is
right.
order you some of this. It's very cheap.
Yeah. Throw coat.
You just got a cash app, turn it around, throw it into this, and
That's what I'm gonna
you'll
do.
feel a little bit better.
I'm gonna try it. See what happens.
I'm
Try
not a
caning
doctor.
Democrats. That always makes me feel good.
Yeah. But I'm gonna wind the show up. If
All
that's
right.
okay with you guys. So,
See you
All right. Well, I'll be the first one to bail out. Thank
Yeah,
you
we'll
very
go
much
around
for
the
having
horn.
me.
you're welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, as I see it, I'm right next to you, so I'll take the first out. Yeah, I did 700 shows, so congrats me and
Having
Scotty,
a
eat my
couch.
shorts. I beat you. That come from doing
No,
like
man,
2 and 3 shows a day at times. So anyway, thank you very much, Pete. Do
right.
stay in touch. I am
Absolutely.
always constantly not worried but curious. Okay.
I will
All
let
right,
you know
thank
what's
you.
going on. All right, we'll talk
Thank
to you
you,
later.
guys.
See ya. All right, Mr. Reverend Rant.
Well, everybody pretty much knows where they can find me. I am here. I am
No worries,
there.
man,
I am
Mom.
everywhere. So, but most of all, you can find me here on Tuesdays and most Thursdays now too.
Yeah, we'll
Um,
have you on Thursday.
and right before this, I'm on with Chris's World. Just hit any one of my channels on Rumble, Pill, D Live, Telegram, X. I mean, anywhere. Just look up Boiling Point Live. You got me there. But before I go, I want to remind everybody, if you would please, if you are one of the faithful, you are one of the BPL family prayer warriors, make sure that you get your prayers in. Make sure that you speak up for everybody who needs it. It's important, and we know that he's listening. So don't forget to do that, and brush your teeth. That's important too.
Absolutely.
All
Absolutely.
right, love you guys. Love you,
Oh,
Pete.
All right,
Keep
man.
your chin up, keep your shoulders square, keep marching forward, and I will see you kids on the flip side.
Thank you.
Damn.
Does that mean it's my turn? It's my turn. Okay. All right. I'll go. I'm done with vacation and I'm back. So I have Tuesdays. Tomorrow, my show will be at 1 p.m. Warriors Workshop. I'll be doing stuff behind me. And Thursday back here with Throwdown Thursday. And then this Friday, I have I'm renaming some shows, combining some shows. But I have Our Realm, which will be on Friday, and it'll encompass basically everything in our realm, in our what we consider our known universe, or whatever you want to call it. And we'll be looking at a documentary about Tesla, and then an interview after that of Tesla, one that doesn't get circulated very often. So we're going to go down that rabbit hole for a little bit, and then Sunday, Disconnect Theater, and then next week after that, it'll be the weekends are the weekend. The week is the same, but the weekends they change. So I'll have some weekends off. I'll have some weekends on. It'll depend on what I'm doing. So just look for notifications. Turn the notifications on, please.
Absolutely.
But guys, thank you very much. It's been great. I love this part of Tuesday. It's fun for me.
Yeah, we had a good
And
time.
oh yeah, we always have a good time. Good stuff. So everyone out there, thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. And I'll see you guys on the flip side.
All righty. We'll see you on Thursday.
Bye-bye. Yeah,
Bye.
Thursday. Bye.
And there it's down to Mr. Spaz.
Yeah, I know.
I missed
Thank-
how was your 100th show?
I don't know. I remember the beginning. I don't remember the end.
You
It was apparently I did another stream afterwards.
don't remember that either, huh?
Nope, don't remember that either. But
Yeah, well, that's
that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as you had a good time.
Well, as long as everybody else had a good time.
Yeah, well, yeah. Anyway, so mandatory Metal Monday.
Yeah, it's coming up 101.
101. Yeah. 101. And then the rest of the week, we don't find Spaz.
I'll
Spaz
find
finds
you.
us. That's
That's
right.
right, sir.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you coming on.
It's always good to see you, sir.
And we'll see you on Thursday.
I worry about you all the time.
Thank you so much.
And you can give me a call too.
Absolutely.
Your wife doesn't call me much anymore.
Absolutely. She's been busy.
I
gotta-
believe it. Look, I am not trying to impose.
Yeah.
I'm all the way on the other side of the coast, and what can I do? I'm just,
I know. I appreciate the thoughts, though.
a word of love is all I
Yes.
can give. So
I appreciate it very, very much. All right. So we'll see you on Thursday. Thank you very much.
much love, sir.
Love you too, man.
Good night.
Good night. All right. Let me thank everybody over from Reverend Ranch channel. All you guys, I appreciate you being here. Everybody on YouTube, my YouTube, X, and my D Live. Thank you very much for being here. And everybody on, of course, Pilled. For all the gold pill love, I appreciate that so much. You have no idea how much that helps. And I may or may not do a show tomorrow. It depends on how I feel. I don't know, but I will definitely be back on Thursday night for Thursday Night Throwdown. I have a couple of special guests in mind. See if anybody answers me back. And we'll definitely be here on Thursday. I know he does, Black Mamba. I know he does. So I am going to end this show for tonight. I think we had a great time, great discussions. And just remember, we don't condone any violence here. It's all in good fun when we talk. So until next time, thank you guys very much. And I'll see everybody definitely on Thursday. Good night.